Good afternoon, Chair Wheeler, members of the board. Matt Villarreal, your Director of Facilities and Fleet Management. I'm here along with Tom Smith, Director of Public Works, Seth Hendler-Voss, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, and we're here to present the FY21 third quarter quarterly project report. In today's presentation, Facilities and Fleet Management is going to highlight 5 of our projects, which are listed up here. Public Works will be highlighting 2 of their projects, which are on this slide as well. And Parks will be providing updates on 11 of their projects, which are on this slide. I'll be turning over this presentation momentarily right here for David Smith, the project manager for Michael Baker. David will provide an update on the substantial progress that has been made at the animal shelter, as well as some timelines of the project.
Hi, Board. My name is David Smith. As Matt said, I am the project manager for Michael Baker's side. Michael Baker's providing construction management services for the animal shelter project. We do have an on-site construction manager. His name is Yasser Gamil. I'll just provide an update of what's happened over the last quarter, what's happening this quarter, status basically on schedule, high overview of cost, and we remaining timeline milestones through completion. So this slide just gives an overview of what the schedule has been like, the cost, status of the cost in the schedule. I won't go through every line of every table. The project was originally 18 months. There has been a negotiation and approval of a 30-day extension that covers all the delays during the year 2020. It included adverse weather that went above and beyond what was allowed in the contract. It also included a lot of unforeseen conditions, a lot of utilities that were not shown on any plans that required extra repairs and extra fixes. And as you'll see, the bottom line on each, we are about 60% through the project, both in terms and schedule and cost paid to the contractor. The next few slides, I do provide a few pictures of some of the work that's been happening over the past quarter. The exterior of the building, they've placed the vapor barrier on the CMU, the masonry units at the exterior. A lot of the roofing is done. The roofing membrane, roof drains for collecting rainwater, the soffit, the fascia, also the skylights. You'll see a picture on the next slide. The interior of the building, they've done a lot of the duct work, a lot of the plumbing and the piping, a lot of the electrical, the HVAC systems they're prepping, and also the interior door frames have been installed. Here on this slide on the right, you can see the skylights that have been installed on the roof, as well as the flashing around them. You'll see a little roof drain in between the skylights there towards the center of the picture to collect stormwater runoff. Also on the left, just a picture of they were pressure testing the water supply branch line, and that did come back approved. On the right, there is an electrician who's just prepping some control panels for equipment and electrical systems. And then on the left is an aerial photograph provided by the county. They've been really good at providing really cool pictures that look good on presentations. I'll note that on the last quarterly update, I incorrectly said it was a drone picture, and I was very quickly at the following progress meeting corrected on that. It was not a drone, it was all by plane. So for this quarter, the exterior of the building, they're wrapping up the canopies. They're installing canopies over like the storefront, over some of the doors and openings. They will be installing also the exterior doors, paneling, the siding on the buildings. They're wrapping that up to this quarter. Inside, they're going to finish the ductwork. They're going to install the HVAC systems so that there's a controlled environment for temperature and moisture. And that way they'll put up the drywall and lights. At the site, they have already installed the in-ground grinder pump station, but like the actual equipment, the pump equipment they'll install. Also at the rear of the building, they've actually already started placing concrete walkways and curbs and gutters. They'll finish up on the rear of the building, a lot of the concrete, as well as start on the landscaping side. Here's an overview of a lot of the milestones out through completion of the project. I'm not going to read every bullet. High-level overview, they're going to start construction of the building addition in June. And they've already started the commissioning process. They've already done a kickoff meeting. The contractor, the construction manager, the county, and the commissioner have all started that process of commissioning the facility. The plan is to start transitioning the existing facility into the new facility in October. And that will just be occupying the west wing while they finish out the building addition. And also, once they transition in, they'll be able to demolish the existing system. They're going to reuse the HVAC system too, and so they'll install that. And the plan is by January or February, finishing up the full commission of the building for full occupancy is planned in March. And so the remaining site is planned in the wintertime. So there are some weather-dependent activities, particularly pavement, landscaping, does have some temperature requirements and weather requirements. So the final punch list will probably be in the spring of 2020.
All right, so our next project that I'd like to highlight is the Judicial Center Master Plan update. The master plan is in full swing. Our consultant, Mosley Architects, was busy completing interviews and space walkthroughs with all the affected departments and agencies in the Judicial Center complex. This slide represents all the different facilities in the complex that are involved in this master plan study. We're anticipating receiving just a preliminary draft of what the needs assessments that they've gathered in the interview process, hopefully here by the end of this month. And so currently we are on schedule, which is to be complete with this process by the end of this calendar year. The fire and rescue system facility condition assessments is in full swing. The Facilities and Fleet Management, Property Management Division has taken on the task of managing the facility condition assessment, or FCA, process. We have contracted Faithful and Gould to complete both FCAs and PEAs, which are preliminary energy use analysis, and ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers, to complete energy audits of the 22 fire and rescue system stations. The FCA will be looking at things like, and they've actually completed these, they're looking at the roof systems, the building exterior elements, structural systems, interior finishes, mechanical systems like HVAC, electrical, plumbing. They're looking at the fire and life safety systems, the elevator systems, accessibility compliance, and site and utilities. The PEA and the ASHRAE Level 1 energy audits, they provide a preliminary energy use analysis at each property as defined by ASHRAE's procedures for commercial building energy audits. Using utility bill data provided by the county, the PPA report shall include an analysis of the historic utility use, peak demand, the cost. The PEA reports also shall compare energy utilization index to similar buildings in the region. It's also as part of this energy audit, which is the ASHRAE process, they do a walkthrough of this and survey to identify low-cost and no-cost measures for improving energy efficiency. And with that, it would include a list of potential capital improvements. Energy conservation measures shall be individually assessed with approximate savings and implementation costs included per property. The findings of these FCAs and energy audits will guide the future work to be completed at the stations. Next project is the ADC main building repairs. This project is providing repairs to the inmate housing areas on the second and third floors of the main ADC building. We awarded a contract to Branch Builds for the main jail repairs, and they are scheduled to be completed by the end of this calendar year. And we have an IFB on the street right now to replace the roof of the facility. Next project is the courthouse security system and lobby expansion. The lobby expansion is 98% complete. Visitors and occupants of the facility are now entering and being screened in the new lobby entrance. The security system upgrade within the courthouse is going well. We're at 65% complete, and we're scheduled to be complete with this project this coming fall. With that, I turn it over to Tom Smith.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon, Chair Wheeler, members of the board. Tom Smith, Director of Public Works. I'd just like to highlight a couple of projects in Public Works this afternoon. During COVID, one thing we haven't seen change is the amount of trash coming into the landfill. So we had to stay on schedule and proceed with our next liner system. As you know, a liner system is a layer of clay and plastic and drainage systems that must go at the bottom of a landfill to protect our groundwater. So the construction began in March. You can see this picture was just excavation. We have to go down to what we call a base grade, and then begin to put the clay and the liner on top, which is currently being done as we speak. It's a fascinating process, and we're scheduled to be completed in November of 2021. I would like to highlight, again, in the solid waste program, the Eco Park. Many of you interested in. Again, the Eco Park is not necessarily one project. It's a series of projects to turn the landfill into various community and renewable resources. We did have a project where we're looking at very new cutting-edge technologies to turn waste into products and energy, non-burn technologies. We were negotiating with a company, but unfortunately due to some technology issues and some funding issues, that project is not going to move forward. So we're going to start all over again. This is not untypical with these kind of projects. So these technologies are changing very rapidly. A lot of them are coming out of Europe. And so we're going to go ahead and plan on issuing a new request for proposal to see what kind of technologies are out there. This will be a partnership where we work with a private company or companies to either put in a pilot or a full-scale facility that would convert our waste either to energy or to products. In our renewable energy, another part of our Eco Park, we are working with our partner who runs our landfill gas to energy facility. Their desire is to turn the landfill gas, which is approximately 50 to 55% methane, to what we call high quality, pipeline quality natural gas. So we call it bio-CNG or bio-natural gas, which means they could actually sell it to like Washington Gas and other gas companies. Right now, because there is no gas line at the landfill, a natural gas line, they're looking at possibly what they call a virtual pipeline, which means they would put it into trucks and then inject it into the pipeline. We are also working with them on possibly putting a fueling station in as part of this. So we're looking at converting the landfill gas to what we call high quality BTU pipeline quality natural gas. This is a positive thing because it's much better economically, not only for the company, but the county would get a greater share of funding of the funds. We get a % of what they sell, and the revenue is much higher in converting it to a natural gas, high quality natural gas, than to make electricity in this current region. So hopefully this summer we'll have a specific proposal to present to you with the economics as well. So we're working on that. We also begin to kind of resurrect our discussions about a solar project on closed areas of the landfill. We've had some discussions with Novec. We're working with some vendors. We're working with new technologies that actually allow solar panels to be put on slopes of landfills. Again, a landfill, because of its height, one of the benefits is it's up there in the air. You don't have any shade from trees or anything like that. So it is one of the best practices for closed landfills to put solar. One of the benefits or potential opportunities if our partner who is making power from landfill gas converts it to high quality gas, that will allow an interconnect, which we have out there, to provide the power to Novec to be available, so we can actually hook that solar right into that existing interconnect, saving us some costs. So those discussions are ongoing, and hopefully in the next few months, hopefully by the end of the year, we might be able to put a project together that you could take a look at. We also, again, because of COVID, many of these things were put on hold, but we're also have a plan to put an education and building at the landfill. We have on here what they call the living building. That is a Leeds building on steroids, if I can use that term. It's kind of having composting toilets and all that kind of thing, totally off the grid power, 100% renewable. So we're looking at working with Virginia Tech and George Mason. Virginia Tech Architecture Department has working with us and try to get some final costs. They have done some preliminary plans for that building. They had a little delay because of COVID as well. Their students, these students graduate, and so they lose that knowledge. So we're working with Virginia Tech on, again, finalizing some of the cost. We've been working with our Parks and Recreation and Tourism. I was going to historic. I keep forgetting. They have a Parks Foundation, and they are willing to work with us on the fundraising. This building is not funded right now, except for some of the planning. So our goal was to maybe do some fundraising with our community, the large corporations, as well as potentially look at grants and other opportunities to fund this project. And the other thing we got going is what we call the Outdoor Discovery Trail or a nature trail. Phase 1 is already in. We have a trail that ties into Colgan High School and Saunders Middle School. This is Phase 2, which will bring the trail kind of from the middle of the buffer areas where we have it now all the way to the ball fields at the entrance to the landfill. So again, we're working with our Parks and Recreation and Tourism Department and their folks to build this trail. We have just begun construction, hope to have it done in June, maybe July, depending upon weather, and then that trail will be totally complete. It's over a 2-mile trail from the landfill entrance all the way up to the 2 schools, which actually border against the landfill. That's all I've got for you this afternoon. If you have questions about
Supervisor Brody?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Smith, as always, for bringing this forward to us. And obviously, as you know, several of my colleagues and I have been especially interested in the renewable energy part of
Correct.
what you all have been working on. To that vein, I had a couple questions. I know in regards to the yard waste facility over at Balls Ford, you entered into a regional partnership with some of our neighboring jurisdictions. In regards to the gas pipeline proposal and the biofuels one you were talking about, is there a potential somewhere to maybe partner with some of our neighboring jurisdictions to maybe take and buy, not buy, but sell, basically us be able to partner with folks and us also get revenue by taking waste from other folks and converting into energy sources?
Right now, the landfill, again, this gas is being produced from the gas that's produced at the landfill. It's methane. So we don't take trash in to the landfill, mainly because we want to preserve it for our future. It's pretty much a county-only facility. We do take some from the 2 cities and, of course, the 4 towns, so we're not looking to bring in trash, if I understand you correctly.
I meant the gas, as in we're already harnessing gas from the existing.
So yes,
source.
if and when, we certainly hope that Fortistar, our partner, begins to produce high-quality gas and put it in a truck. We could partner with other localities if they want this gas, deliver it to them. Now, Washington Gas is very interested in this project because they want to have renewable gas in their system. Other gas company as well, and certainly we would work with other localities if they want to utilize this gas somehow to deliver it to them. Yes, definitely.
Appreciate that. And my last question, one of my constituents reached out to me in regards to the expansion of the landfill and asked me about trash grinders. And he explained that, in other localities, they use trash grinders to extend the life of the landfills. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, typically we call them shredding, trash shredder. I mean, it does reduce the volume a bit. We've looked into that. They're very expensive to operate. We have very good compaction. We try to compact the trash with very large pieces of. I need to take some of you out on a tour, obviously. Very large equipment, so we get very good compaction. So it's really the way that to grind the trash is to get better compaction. We have not yet, in our analysis, seen that to be as a cost-effective option. These machines, very expensive to operate, and they tend to break down quite often. But it's something we'll continue to explore as those technologies improve.
Good afternoon, Chair Wheeler, members of the board, Seth Henler-Voss, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Director. The 5 natural turf fields and playground at Cat Harpin Park Phase 2 are complete. And while the fields are not ready for play yet, the playground and the walking trails are getting a lot of use. We're working on adding a link to the trail to complete the perimeter loop on the property that connects all the fields. And despite what the slides show, the fields will actually be playable this coming fall. We are planning to cut the ribbon on Cat Harpin Park Phase 2 later this summer, so please stay tuned for more details. The auxiliary building for the Diamond Field portion of Cat Harpin Park, which was Phase 1, has been delayed due to some challenges selecting a contractor. The project was advertised this winter, and we only received one bid in the amount of $1.1 million, which is well above the engineer's estimate of $550. So unfortunately for our project budgets, it's a contractor's market out there today. We updated the bid documents and are planning to re-advertise the project in July, and we remain hopeful we'll get a bidder out of at the end of the day. So please disregard the slide there. It states April 28th. We've got to push that to July. Once the new fiscal year 22 budget is activated, we're going to move very quickly to begin the accessibility projects around the existing dugouts and the spectator areas to make Phase 1 of the park fully accessible, which is something we've intended to do from day one. We'll also start construction on the emergency access drive between Kyle Wilson Drive, it's on the edge of the slide there, left hand of the slide, and the Diamond Fields, as well as adding new accessible parking spaces closer to the fields. The new auxiliary building at Long Park is dried in, and we're on budget and on schedule, and we're estimated to complete the project this fall. Rollins Ford Park has been delayed due to a non-responsive low bidder. Unfortunately, the bidder left the playground out of their bid, and the second and third lowest bids were a little too high for our budget. So back out to the street we go. We plan on doing that in July. We hope to break ground in early fall. The Harbor Drive Wellness Park, in healthy partnership with Kaiser Permanente, is under construction and progressing well. And we look forward to a fall 2021 ribbon cutting, so stay tuned for details for that. The Potomac Heritage Scenic Trail Occoquan Wildlife Refuge segment is complete. It's the image you see on the slide. And in addition to providing a great quality of life amenity for our citizens, this national trail is really an economic and tourism boon for the county. And as a county, we really need to do our best to leverage this trail to etch and galvanize our identity as a regional recreation leader. And we have a lot to look forward to with this Potomac Heritage Scenic Trail. As you know, one big section is the Neabsco Boardwalk, and we have some additional segments we're going to try to knock out here in the coming years. The section between the Refuge and Veterans Park is slated to be completed later this spring, early summer, and we're planning to cut the ribbon on this entire segment sometime in the fall, so stay tuned for details for that. The Northern Virginia Soccer Club is wrapping up construction on the new artificial turf field at Hellwig Park, and the turf replacement for Field 7, an existing turf field, has been complete. Here's an image of the new turf field. It's going to be ready for play in the next 30 to 60 days. So as a reminder, Northern Virginia Soccer Club contributed $1.1 million towards this project, and we matched it with $335,000 in proffer funding. Next fiscal year, we're planning to start design on the new artificial turf fields at Hellwig Park, at the front of the park, near 619, which were part of the 2019 bond referendum. Staff is making steady progress on the Occoquan Trail in the Lake Ridge community. The Lake Ridge community has been very patient with us as we've been working hard to create a first-class trail experience for our citizens, and we're grateful for their partnership. We're currently focused on two sub-projects. The first is rerouting existing Segment 3 to make the trail more sustainable and to reduce the number of expensive bridge crossings. And the second is to replace the existing bridge at segment 4. The image here in front of you is the bridge that we're going to be installing as part of segment 3. Regarding segment 3, this bridge project is in permitting right now, and we plan to bid the project this summer. Regarding segment 4, which is the replacement bridge, the construction drawings are at 75%, and we're going to begin the permitting process this June, followed by procurement. Hopefully, we'll get that project done this fall. We think we can procure it. We can streamline the procurement for that using open contracts. We are prepared to move on completing new segments of the Occoquan Trail, which many of the residents are very excited for. And we're going to do just that utilizing the bond funds appropriated in the fiscal year 22 budget. The segments will include the Hoos Run crossing and the connection between Clipper Drive and downtown Occoquan along Tanyard Hill Road. The challenge course at Locust Shade Park is on schedule for June completion. The accessible parking spaces have already been constructed, and the play equipment has already been delivered to the contractor. They should be putting that equipment in any day now. As a reminder, this project was funded in part by a $250,000 grant from the Department of Defense. We were one of 16 projects selected nationally. So we're very honored about that. And we are planning ribbon cutting in the June timeframe, so please stay tuned for more details regarding that. As usual, we're making very good and efficient use of the Building Facilities Program money. Here are a couple examples of projects that have utilized that funding. You can see here we're finishing the pond retrofit at Rollins Ford, doing a lot of paving. Paving isn't the sexiest of projects, but it sure does make a difference for the customers coming into our parks. They notice things like paving in a big way. Last slide here is another example of the use of BF&P money, and that is the spa at Sharon Bockham Dale City Recreation Center. We just renovated, we virtually replaced the whole spa, which had aged out. With that, I'll take any questions you might have.